We're going to take a look at two heavyweights for 2025 in that player's distance category. These two irons look phenomenal. We're going to hit them both in this video. So we've got in our hands today, we've got the TaylorMade P790, arguably one of the most popular irons TaylorMade have ever launched. I think it's in its 5th generation now. Obviously some tweaks happen along the way, but looks fantastic at the back of that club head. And then of course, we've just seen the new release of the Titleist T series irons, and in particular the T250. Again, super clean look. Both fantastic looking golf irons. Both got similar tech in there, which we're going to run through, but let's see which one outperforms another, if it does. But we're going to run through it. In my personal feedback, really how these clubs look, not only in that playing position, but also a little bit of feel, as well as some Trackman numbers on their performance. So we'll kick things off with the T250, brand new iron from Titleist, along with the other in that T series category. And this for me was a bit of a standout when we saw this iron in the previous 250, which had that plastic badge in the back. It was a bit clicky. It looked a little bit on the cheaper side, if I'm being brutally honest, where now they've lost that. Very clean on the back, hollow construction. We've got some tungsten inside there, but just literally that bag appeal from the back of the iron, it looks absolutely fantastic. Big fan of how that looks. Players category, hollow construction, they both are. We've got, you know, ultimately forgiveness packed into this golf club, but with more of that nice sort of players look, as we would sort of refer it to. So a little bit more of a compact sort of look. Obviously, it's not going to be as neat as maybe like your T150, T100 in the Titleist, but we've still got that very nice sort of shaping. A little bit longer blade length than the other two irons. Minimal amount of offset, medium-ish top line. Looks great down by that golf ball. Really good shape, this. Oh, that's a great strike. That's a beautiful flight. And there is that slightly clickier sound to this hollow construction, essentially. I'm interested to sort of hear that up against the 790, because that has that speed foam inside, trying to maybe dampen that sort of sound. But so yeah, looks great down by that golf ball attack. It's really big fan of this. It's been very popular since the launch. Okay, that's a little bit low in the face. Feel that, a little bit of feedback. Won't be quite as long on the, so quick on the ball speed. I can't imagine that slightly low strike. Yeah, spin's just gone up a little bit on that low contact. Gorgeous high ball flight. So, players distance category. This is 30.5 degrees of loft for the 7-iron. Both 7-irons I've got here. The P790 is exactly the same loft. It's got the same shaft, same length, same lie. So very equal sort of test between these two golf clubs. And a category for me that is very popular, very desirable category. You know, looking at that nicer look, but still golfers wanting that little bit of help, a little bit of forgiveness, mixed in with a little bit of that ball speed off the club face. Yeah, so that's not flushed, but the flight's very similar to the other two. A few shots I've just hit. So I think great feedback through the iron, very blendable these with the other models in the Titleist sort of lineup. We've got a bit of the forged sort of face on the here, not a fully forged body, but a forged face. We've got some tungsten in the head, which is split low in the heel and the toe, helping with a bit of stability in those miss hits. That's a good strike. That's a beautiful shot. That's right down that flag. Yeah, I really enjoy hitting that. Very nice iron. Okay, so let's drop these two irons side by side and let's have a look at in that sort of playing position in terms of how they sit behind the golf ball. I think for me there, straight away, what I would see there is the T250. Looks to be a longer blade length from that heel to toe. A little bit more length in there. P790 looks a little bit more squat, a little bit more compact in that sort of playing position. Top line, yeah, very sort of similar there. Maybe, no, it is. It's probably pretty similar. Toe section, very similar sort of shape on it. So quite a similar look, just probably a slightly more, maybe confident inspiring with the T250 if you like to see a little bit more head size down by that golf ball, but both really nice shapes. And of course, when we flip them onto into the back view of the irons, I mean, the P790 is beautiful, very clean, just that chrome strip through there with the P790 logo. And again, obviously the Titleist is again very sort of clean, so both very clean looks. Visibly on the bottom of the P790, we've got that speed slot there, which helps with those low hits, just creating that little bit of extra flex in the face to keep the ball speed up, where obviously the Titleist doesn't have that. But we've got a very similar sort of width of sole between those two irons. So drop your comments down below and just let me know which one would you you choose purely on the looks of the back of the golf club? Not so much the playing position, but the back of the head. Which do you think would look better sat in the bag out of those two irons? I'll probably just edge a little bit towards the 250, for being honest, a little bit of a cleaner look. But P790 in my hands now, 7.9 again, 30.5 degrees of loft. As I say, a little bit more of a squat head. Great shape though, great iron, very, very popular. That's a nice shot. Very similar flight, if I'm being honest. Sound instinct straight off that, probably a tiny bit quieter than the T250, should I say. Ooh, just slightly pulled on that, and the strike was quite nice actually, but just a little bit pulled. Definitely feel like that sound's just a little bit more muted there over the T250. Probably just that little bit of that speed foam filled in into that hollow head construction, just maybe dampening that sound and vibration a little bit. All right, testing the speed slot. That was very low on the face. Has launched a touch lower. Let's see if that keeps up with that carry distance there. Comparison to the others. Yeah, a little bit of a drop off. Spin's just popped up a little bit. That was quite a low short strike. So to be honest, I've had a couple of iffy, well, low strike with the Titleist and low strike with the P790. So again, that wasn't perfect. Very straight. Again, a little bit low in the face. So again, in the P790, we do have the tungsten inside the head, heel and toe split. As we sort of mentioned before, we've got the speed slot very visible on the bottom there, just maybe helping me out a tiny bit there on that slightly low strike. And then again, we've got that forged face, which from previous generations of the P790, this is now a bit stronger, a little bit faster off the face is what TaylorMade are saying, and a little bit more forgiving again than previous sort of models. So always trying to make these golf clubs as forgiving as they possibly can, but while keeping that real good looks and performance. Okay, and there's the last one to finish off with the P790. For me, two great looking irons. I'll probably just, like I say, edge towards the 250 in terms of the look, but purely probably because of the back of the look, to be honest. Both really look really great in that playing position. Let's go and check a few numbers out. Okay, so club head speed pretty much identical, maybe a hair quicker with the T250. Ball speed a little bit quicker with the 790 off the club face there, which is quite interesting. Launch a little bit lower with the 790 against the T250. Spin as average 6.2 up against 6,600 with a P790. Now, the highest to lowest, obviously you can see a tighter front to back or lowest to highest spin number. The Titleist, to be honest, the first one was a little bit of a low spin one there. That was the one that went quite a long way. You can see obviously with it coming out low on the spin, high launch, low spin, maybe a little bit of strike there potentially from me. But that came out at, obviously pitched at 1.8, and then I've got some coming back at 1.65 when maybe the strike not quite as good. You see ball speed down just a fraction. Launch was a little bit different. That's probably that low one in the head. Obviously spun it up a little bit more. So a little bit of up and down on the spin there, which I'm sort of surprised about. I mean, both averaging a similar distance, but again, your consistency of the front to back dispersion is quite important. Okay, so there we go. P790 up against the T250. Post comments down below. Which one would you go for? Hopefully catch up with you all very soon.